Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and with this recent update, Blizzard decided to implement even more customization features for a couple different races in World of Warcraft. Not all of these functions are, well, functional. There's a lot of bugs still in the alpha, but in today's video I wanted to really take a look at some of the newest stuff that Blizzard have added for us to mess with. I'll talk about the small updates as well as the major updates, primarily those that are going to hit Night Elves as well as Trolls. So anyway, let's get into some more customization options available in the alpha. First things first, we'll take a look at the Night Elves, and there's a variety of different customization options finally available. There's a variety of different features that have been added, and more than I expected when it comes to customizing my Night Elf. The females and the males both have different customization, but let's take a look at everything that is available. We'll start with the female Night Elves, and female Night Elves have gotten 3 new skin tones added, so now you can go for even darker than dark Night Warrior type of look, which looks amazing with orange eyes. You also got a couple different haircut options. Now this is different than the leaves in your hair and the vines in your hair. That is a separate preset that can be enabled or disabled. But the 3 new haircut options I think look good. I mean, if you don't count the bald because I've just taken the hair off, but the 3 new haircut options available really do look quite good. Another thing that I noticed with the haircuts is now there's a bit more of a gradient to them. So when you select a specific color for a hair, there's going to be darker parts and lighter parts, which does add a little bit extra to it. I don't believe that Night Elves had this before, or at least with the new haircut options, it's a little more accentuated. You also have a couple different haircut options in terms of the color of the haircuts. You have like the very matte black, then charcoal, a very kind of orange, which you would see maybe on a human, as well as like a really bright pink. So a lot of different customizations added as well. And then we have the eyes, which Blizzard seems to be messing around with. Right now you have a couple different eye options for white eyes, blue eyes, orange eyes, as well as a combination of those where one of those eyes is blind. On websites like Wowhead, you'll see a lot of presets for double blind eyes, so you can have like the blue double blind or orange double blind, where orange kind of looks like a dark ranger in a sense, but it looks like Blizzard, at least in the alpha, doesn't allow for the double blind to go on. Maybe not to confuse players to think that you can go for this red dark ranger type of look. Maybe this is intentional, maybe that's something that they'll add in the future, but right now you only have a couple options. Besides looking at the Night Warrior, there are 3 different types of eyes and a blind version to them. You'll also be surprised at how much difference the eyebrows can make on a Night Elf, because you have a lot more different eyebrow choices. The males have a variety of different choices compared to the females. And then just like the Blood Elves, you now have the Night Elf ear choices, from the original ears, thicker ears, feral ears, shorter ears, and rough ears for the female. And the male look kind of similar, but they are also different a little bit. So there are going to be differences whether you play a Night Elf male or female. Continuing on into the females, part of the decorations is going to be the markings on the character, the different colors of those markings, as well as other things like scars. The scars themselves have an amazing detail, as you have burn marks on the left side of your face, as well as other scars from claws from animals, talons, bear claws, nose scars, any kinds of scars. But I really like the burn marks on your left side of the face. If, let's say, you were a Night Elf that survived the big tree burning and you maybe were left with some scars, for RP purposes, there's so much juiciness to it. I actually really did appreciate Blizzard adding that little neat feature. It looks fantastic, it's just a small little detail, but it looks absolutely amazing. Then you have some of the other smaller changes like nose rings, necklaces, headdresses, as well as the choices of what type of leaves you want in your hair, what color of leaves or vines do you want all over your character, if you did decide to go with a more natural, wild look. But that's going to finish all the updates we have for the female Night Elves. What I noticed is in most of the updates for Shadowlands and customization, unless you are a Worgen, most of the characters have had more presets and more customization options for the females rather than the males. However, it seems that with Night Elves that has been flipped. The males have a lot more customization than females don't, and maybe females will get some of those at a later time. But also in a sense, I would say the Night Elf males have a lot better, cooler looking, more interesting customizations than anything the females have gotten so far. I mean, if you thought scars and it leaves in your hair was cool, check out what the males are getting. Just like the females, you have a couple different skin tones to add to the character, although they don't look like the darker skin tone for males doesn't look nearly as dark as the females, so there are slight changes within the tone. There are also a couple different haircut options for the males, from the undercut to the man bun, which looks hilariously good, to be honest. Then you got this haircut that makes you look like Fabio in a way, but looks amazing for a druid with a massive beard and leaves everywhere. And then finally, the undercut tall that has more of this mohawk ponytail thing that looks quite interesting. The male Night Elves also have more or less the same customization options as the female. Maybe the tones for the colors are slightly off, but it's really hard to tell. They look pretty much identical for the most part. But also the males have sideburns now, so you can really modify your face and the facial hair in a variety of ways, even if you want to look like Wolverine. And as of right now in the alpha, males, unlike females, do not have blind alternatives for their eye color. You either have white, blue, orange, or the Night Warrior eyes available, but no blind counterpart. And I wonder if that's on purpose like this, or maybe that's something that'll be added at a later time, but for now, males don't have any blind alternatives. And then of course, there's a variety of eyebrows available for males that are not available for females. Well, females, you can go as thin and elegant or as bushy as you want to, but males have a couple different choices of elegancy, bushiness, different curves, different shapes that you want to go for. So they really do allow you to go for this very much caveman style, very much wild man, or trying to blend to be like a tree if you want to. I think somebody as a Night Elf, maybe really bushy eyebrows, make them green, you could honestly hide in a bush and no one could tell that you were there. Just like the human males, the Night Elf males also get a variety of facial options. You have mustache presets and also a variety of beard presets. Some of these mustaches look comical, which is what a Night Elf would normally wear, like really wild and out there with vines and kind of really messy looking. Or you can go for a more groomed option, which is something I think Night Elves haven't had before. Usually Night Elves looked a lot more cartoony, but if you want to make like a kind of like a almost human-like a Night Elf fused together, like a Night Elf, tall stature, long ears, but then more of a human-like facial hair, and kind of combine it together to look kind of even Void Elfy, you can finally do that on the alpha, which I actually was quite surprised with. Then of course there are the ears for the males and females, but they are slightly different. The males have the original thick, feral, but then short ears and rough ears, where it looks like one ear is really roughed up and the other kind of suffered a battle injury, which is the biggest difference between the males and females, where females have mostly uniform ears. The males do have a couple different options with the short, and the ones that look rough will still give you, the player, the opportunity to customize any way you want to based on if you're the male or the female Night Elf. And then of course there are the scars, and for the most part it's similar scars as the female, but slightly different. Like males have a mouth scar that looks like you got attacked more at the mouth, and the other eye now has this talon scar. Instead of for female, it's usually the left eye. For males, it would be the right eye. Of course, there's also the vines as well as the vine color, in case you decided that your Night Elf fell out of a tree and is now walking around, really haven't looked in the mirror in a while. But then the males have something the females don't, and that's actually tattoos. The tattoos females do not even have access to, but the males do, and they look insane. A lot of their tattoos kind of try to color in their eyes to almost give them like as if they were wearing like a bandana over their eyes, but instead it's like this Night Elfy purple color. You have these runes on shoulders like you would as if you were a druid. If you were to play a feral druid, you will see similar runes on the shoulders of a cat or your bear form. There's a variety of runes that go up and down the torso, runes that look like snakes with circles, almost like Illidari-like in some sense, and this can give you so much extra customization and extra flair for the character that I was actually surprised. It made me think, why don't the female Night Elves have something like this? I do wonder if there's maybe some lore reasons for this. I'm not someone who is super keen on Night Elf lore, and I know that their like society is a little different, where normally like males and females are the guards in cities, but for Night Elves usually it's the females that are guards, but druids are usually bears sleeping in caves, so maybe it has to do something with that. But maybe Blizzard just needs to catch up and add the tattoos on females, which I think they totally should. Then we got a couple different combinations for Pandaren. For Pandaren, it's going to be quite quick. We got some different furs available, as well as a couple different haircut options. If you wanted to look like Tyler Blevins, now you can, but as a Pandaren with a bandana haircut option as well as two other choices. There's a foxtail Pandaren male option that kind of clips into the body. Hopefully Blizzard maybe does something so it doesn't clip into the character, because that looks weird. But it kind of needs to curve out of the body or against the body or something so you can see the haircut option a little more. And Pandaren got a few different facial hair presets, but it's really hard to tell which are new, which are not, because, well, how many of us play Pandaren? And I think most of their haircut options are very similar to one another. Not a lot of them really stand out. They didn't really have the same beards and mustache options as some of the other races. A lot of them are still stylized very similarly to the original Pandaren presets available when Pandas first got released. So I found that quite interesting. But also, the male Pandaren have a quite few eye options as well for different colors, if that's how you want to customize your character even further. Same thing can be said about the female Pandaren in terms of the different fur colors, but they also got 3 new haircut options, and female Pandaren still have this thing where it looks like their heads are not really part of the body. You have still that seam, so maybe that's something that Blizzard can work on in the future. But some of the new female haircut options, they look quite good. I'm really a huge fan of the bandana. I like the color scheme for it, and if you could make a whole golden and red mock around it, I think it would look fantastic. Finally, the females also have a preset for tails. You can either have the nub, a Pandaren nub tail, or you can go for a more fox-like tail. So now Pandaren can look more like the OG panda, or maybe something like a red panda instead, with more of this bushy tail. Maybe the Worgen can get a tail option at some point. Then we have trolls with a variety of presets. You got a couple different skin tones available for a very dark skin, purple skin, and very sand troll skin available as well. So now you can be one of the different troll tribes if that's what you wanted to play for your character. I think it's going to be really cool to customize like the different skin tones, hair colors, and the tattoos or body paint available to make this very different tribal troll. I think it's going to be part of the fun of customization. Another thing that they added also was the different haircuts available for the female trolls. I think a lot of them look good, especially some that have very different hair strands. So as you change your hair, certain strands of that hair also change color to kind of sort of complement one another, and that could look really neat together. One thing I noticed for most troll models, male or female, is all of them look about the same, but the eyes really do make a difference. Your troll can look more curious or wise or, well, really more Zerkish-like, depending on the eye color that you choose, and I think that is really a massive thing that can make a massive difference when it comes to crafting your character. There's also a couple different piercings available, either for the nose, like having a bone through your nose, if you really want to go full-on savage, and a variety of different earrings that both the males and the females can wear. Now, of course, the body paint. How can we forget the body paint, which is the biggest aspect of this? The way the Blizzard has the body paint done right now is you have the face and you have the body paint. The face can be one way with maybe like stripes or skull or more like war paint, while the body can be a completely another style. So you can kind of mix and match styles together, go all uniform if you want to, and you can even mismatch the colors. So for example, you could have purple paint on your face, but then red paint on your body if that's how you wanted to go for. So that can give players a lot more customization and a lot more interesting aspects to add to your troll character to make you a little bit more diverse and more identifiable than every other troll out there. I really do think for female trolls, this is some nice, great customization, because I don't really know a lot of people that play as female trolls, but this customization is definitely going to make more people play as one. And then we have the male counterpart trolls available. They have mostly the same presets as the females, except for different haircuts. Some of them look good, some of them don't. I think one of them looks really goofy, and that's the one that I enjoy. But the one thing that the males do get that females don't is the massive tusk updates. Their tusks look absolutely fantastic with the different shapes that you can have, since that part of the, I guess, character is more emphasized, whereas the female trolls have small tusks that don't really go too far out of their mouth. The male trolls can have these massive tusks that can curl in a variety of directions, and there's even one tusk that just makes my teeth hurt. It is a tusk that has like a right side broken off, and you can see the marrow, and I don't really know how I feel about it. It actually makes my teeth hurt looking at it. But all this combined with a variety of different presets and even more face paint styles available for the males does give them a little bit extra interesting things to play with. I think most of the extra face paint styles are available from the original faces for trolls, because you had like four different presets for tusks, and then you had those same 4 presets but with different face paints. So now they simply just have more face paints to add to the face if that's how you want to play. I think they really should add more faces for trolls, because I really was struggling to make a troll that was kind of tranquil, happy, like a happy little druid troll or a shaman troll that's more tranquil and doesn't want to fight people. Most of the male trolls really do look savage. So maybe Blizzard can add more presets for the faces to be less aggro, maybe more relaxed, or maybe more wise or young, kind of like how orcs can have a preset for preface where they look more young and wide-eyed and just unsure of the world. But yeah, trolls really do look quite good, whether male or female. That's going to be everything for me today, guys. Thank you so much for checking out this video with all the different presets available in the Shadowlands alpha right now. I scanned all the other races available, and it doesn't seem like there's anything extra added yet. I'm really hoping for some more Nightborn updates, because Nightborn, compared to some of the other races available, we don't really have a lot. And I was hoping maybe some of the Night Elf presets, like the eyes or maybe the hair options, skin tones, would also go to Nightborn as well. Kind of like how Blood Elves were able to share a couple presets with the Void Elves. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll see all of you guys in another one.